Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. My name is Mr. Daniel Dean Pitta. My batteries in my cell phone and my laptop are like that. They fried them. That way they have to be plugged in directly like I am right now to my car jack. I'm here at Facebook on the Dumbarton Expressway, Dumbarton Bridge, on the way back to where I live, the East Bay. So I'm doing this to get a soundtrack on this because some people don't like reading the paperwork. So it's easier to do this for Facebook, download as a stupid video. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me fire up this bullhorn, then you'll see where it's at. So I got what I call my look on. This is my high profile protest look, blue Hawaiian shirt, khaki pants, high profile NASA hat. God bless everybody. Here it goes. Beep, beep. Testing, 1, 2, 3. My name's Mr. Daniel Dean Pitta. I'm actually protesting the United States government right here. Department of Homeland Security, United States Justice Department, National Security Division, and FBI. I've been under a FISA warrant, international terrorism investigation for over 18 years. They got 2 misdemeanors on me in that time frame. They don't have anything to indict me with. So what they do in a hard case like this, for being too peaceful, they use electromagnetic pulse neurological weapons to set you up as they throw citizens in the state of California at you. Really stupid 18 years later. So I'm protesting them right here. Now I do have Meta's legal backing. I have Apple's legal support. I have the American Civil from San Francisco to New York, the same with Amnesty International, and a handful of senators, a lot of local politicians and local police departments. I just got done with Apple over in Dienza. I was interfacing with an FBI officer that always shows up on the Apple campuses. So here it is. I'm going to put the letters on to Dianne Feinstein back in 2020. My pre-recorded speech. Thank you.
https://uta.be War Powers Act/US Patriot Act. To Honorable Ms. Dianne Feinstein, U.S. Senator/San Francisco, California office. From Mr. Daniel Dean Pitta.
Is that loud enough?
First, inquiry/summary January 31st, 2020. Hire 3 attorneys, confess to a California state crime, for the purpose of using the Alameda County District Attorney's Office to do my legal laundry. And then the Department of Homeland Security and National Security Division of U.S. Justice Department and FBI turned me into their 911 laundromat. Through the bylaws of the U.S. Patriot Act/Visa Warrant for International Terrorism and Domestic Terrorism Investigations. Over 16 years of congressional grand juries, federal grand juries, and letters of national security, with power of attorney over my civil rights, legal, financial, and medical. The U.S. Attorney's Office investigation under ex parte prosecution, without the right to any attorneys or a legal defense, becomes a life-threatening investigation by the Department of Homeland Security, with no morality towards any human rights or civil rights, without any common love of humanity, without the love of any empathy. 16 years of slavery, inhuman cruelty, and suffering. through the bylaws of the U.S. Patriot Act and the tyranny of the Department of Homeland Security by weaponizing constitutional law and the Bill of Rights within a War Powers Act. Asterisk 2007 FISA warrant investigation, CIA psychotropic drugs torture, and EMP microwave weapons. Asterisk 2008/2024 domestic terrorism investigations, CIA psychotropic drugs torture, and EMP microwave weapons. To Honorable Ms. Dianna Feinstein, U.S. Senator / San Francisco, California office. From Mr. Daniel Dean Pitta. Second Inquiry / February 7th, 2020. After being put through the eye of the hurricane, all 9 rings of hell that dwell within the mind of the beast this day on earth, and with nerve-shattering shock and awe to the human body and psyche, I still love and believe in the people of the United States of America. As of my last part of this inquiry, I would love to put this on the record today. Thanks for the memories of the U.S. Patriot Act. Only in America can this be sold to all Americans under the beguiling consequences of national security. To forfeit any civil liberties to this act is to imprison the people of this nation to the cruelty of tyranny. To condone this unbridled act of absolute power over the people is to condone the act of slavery without the proper checks and balances within the interest of due process. Without more congressional bylaws of the U.S. Patriot Act for FISA warrants. Without raising the bar to a higher standard for all FISA warrant applications and investigations, and for more oversight and review by the FISA court. By restricting the use of any FISA warrants before a thorough examination of all applications to qualify them for the use as a FISA warrant, or any general warrants, by the FISA court under ex parte prosecution, will mainly lose sight of the spirit of the law within this act itself, and cause more harm than any meaningful benefit to the nation's security and safety of the American people and their civil liberties. In my honest opinion as a victim of the U.S. Patriot Act and its bylaws, the FISA court system should be saddled and bridled with more congressional oversight and review for basic human rights and civil rights violations. Regarding any FISA warrant application and investigation, the need to overhaul and maintain the integrity of the bylaws of the U.S. Patriot Act and the FISA court in good faith with the American people and the national security of the United States of America. Page 1. The most important issue at hand is to maintain and uphold the sanctuary of this highest court. Beyond the politics of falsehood, and to enhance and to perfect the duty of the FISA court for the security of the nation, and more so to the overall safety of the American people and the U.S. Constitution, while under this War Powers Act / U.S. Patriot Act. It's very clear and self-evident that there is a need for absolute guarantee for the protection of human rights and civil rights while under this act of Congress. I am petitioning you and your office staff through this inquiry to aid me in my request for due process of my unalienable constitutional rights and my God-given human rights. To any attorney on earth that can free me from the bonds of slavery and the tyranny of inhuman suffering, EMP high-tech torture, and psychotropic drug torture. Quotations. Abraham Lincoln. Asterisk, do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? Frederick Douglass. Asterisk, I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false, and to incur my own abhorrence. To Honorable Senator / San Francisco, California office. From Mr. Daniel Dean Pitta. Third, inquiry / February 18th, 2020. From the birth of a nation to the American Civil War, from the Insurrection Act of World War I to the National Security Act of 1947, post-World War II, and even during the McCarthy hearing and the Church Committee, to this day in history under the U.S. Patriot Act. This nation has survived many challenges under the right leadership of a free republic. This War Powers Act / U.S. Patriot Act has become a total nightmare, under the supervision from the Department of Homeland Security and National Security Division of U.S. Justice Department and FBI. A true conflict of interest within constitutional separations of power of the U.S. Constitution itself. Article 1 versus Article 2, and then under Article 3 of the U.S. Constitution. The uncharted ground of this War Powers Act / U.S. Patriot Act, and the U.S. federal court system in the shadow of this act. The FISA court itself has a conflict of interest, the sanctuary of this high court to be neutral to all politics during the FISA court period of reviewing all FISA warrant applications, and into the appeal process by the National Security Board of Review for any application of a FISA warrant. The layers of review, from FBI HQ / DOJ to FBI National Security Attorney's Board of Review, to FBI Field Office, FBI Law Clerks for FISA warrants applications, and signed by an FBI Deputy Director, and then signed by Attorney General of the United States of America. Page 2. The watchdogs of America's national security and the safety of the United States and the American people. God bless these institutions of the United States government and the loyalty of their employees for the best job possible in the interest of the American people. God bless them and their families, amen. But in the interest of overkill, to the American people's civil liberties. Any institutions that enshrine itself in a culture of obey and advance, without any moral consciousness, within dictatorial law, under the U.S. Patriot Act, should always have more congressional oversight and review through the FISA court for FISA warrants applications process and investigations. I personally endorse this as a victim to this War Powers Act / U.S. Patriot Act, and also a victim of psychotropic drug torture / EMP microwave weapons, condoned under 2007 FISA warrant investigation, and the continuous used under domestic terrorism investigations 2008 / 2024. I strongly endorse the use of the ACLU attorneys as a neutral third party to aid the FISA court in all applications of FISA warrants as pre-approved national security attorneys. To aid in the reviewing process of all FISA warrants application and any resubmitting of any FISA application from previous reviews to the same FISA court judges before, no more musical chairs, with the judges of the High Court, and through any appeal process with the National Security Board of Review. For more transparency and clarity through congressional oversight, to aid the FISA court's judges in their independent decision before this High Court. The FISA Court's judges have already endorsed the use of the ACLU attorneys to be used as part of the national security procedure from the beginning of any review of FISA warrant applications. To advocate in the interest of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, safety of the American people and their civil liberties while under this War Powers Act/U.S. Patriot Act. As a victim of this act that shadows my life and enslaves me to its tyranny of inhuman cruelty, all I ask for is the right to an attorney, Mr. Benjamin Wisner, from the ACLU New York chapter. In so many words, liberty or give me death, to paraphrase from my past inquiries, and to add my honest opinion. After being put through the eye of the hurricane, within the mind of the beast, all 9 rings of hell of torment, with psychotropic drug torture and EMP microwave high-tech torture, as a way to undermine me and to set me up under this War Powers Act/U.S. Patriot Act, FISA warrant, and domestic terrorism investigation. For over 16 years of congressional grand jury and federal grand juries and California state grand juries, under ex-party prosecution, and more so to weaponize my civil rights and human rights, under the 9/11 money tree of tyranny, to circumvent the U.S. constitutional rights of all Americans by this War Powers Act/U.S. Patriot Act investigation. I am abolitionist to all forms of slavery, to all forms of tyranny, to all forms of inhuman cruelty and torture. Under the moral principles of all humanity and the universal morals of all gods of Mother Earth. And as I said before, I still love and believe in the people of the United States of America and our democratic republic. Closing quotations. Abraham Lincoln. Asterisk America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. Asterisk God must love the common people, because it made so many of them. Page 3. From the base camp of Operation Archangel Nonviolent Solution to Homeland Security and the National Security Division, U.S. Justice Department/FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force under War Powers Act/U.S. Patriot Act. patriotactvictim@gmail.com. patriotactvictim@gmail.com. Special thanks, New York ACLU Attorney on Record, Mr. Ben Wisner, SF ACLU Board of Director, Ms. Michelle Welch, Amnesty International USA/New York and Oakland, California. Moral support, as I say, the second coming of Jesus Christ, has postponed for eternity in the interest of national security.
Thank you. This is a Mr. Daniel Dean Pitta doing an audio video tape of this moment. That way I can post it on Facebook tonight. If everything works out. God bless America. Bless the people. And I'm signing off and taking a hot shower and smoking some weed when I get back. Y'all have a good day. Thank you for your time. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's a marcher through the vineyards of the great Jerusalem. He's a That's all, folks. kind of boring on this spot. You got to get to the front doors. It's a lot more interesting, but like I said, my battery's been fried in my telephone and my laptop. So I can't do this in the field unless I'm actually plugged in. So, yeah, isn't that kind of fun? I plugged my phone in, I plugged my laptop in at the house, and it becomes a weapon. They surge the fuck out of it using Wi-Fi. Well, the opiate of all mankind. Welcome to the internet. Beep, 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 beep. God bless everybody. God bless your children's future. Amen. I gotta hit a button over here. Look at me, I got all my teeth, got all my hair. I wake up every morning. These people can't stop me. All they do is stop you. Ha! Beep, beep.